you.
I would very much love that.
As the party travels on their way following the strange woman, she leads them to a port town and they soon board a ship. They seem to board the ship without paying, nor any real resistance. It's as if no one notices them. They make their way awkwardly down below deck and make themselves comfortable. Once again, not really bothered or noticed by many or anyone really. Shinra takes a seat at one of the tables and merely waits.
Kane sees what's on offer at the bar as far as food and drink. Cookies.
Cookies. They've also got a very nice grill going on back there. If you look toward the back.
Ah.
Yeah. It's very fancy.
I suppose we'll just start with some appetizers. Kane gets 3 cookies and lays down the appropriate amount of silver.
No one seems to really acknowledge him.
Julianos also moves over and picks up a plate of, well, not the entire plate, but just a couple of cookies here and there. And
then they just take the plate.
Yeah, Julianos just takes the plate.
The two reach down and both grab the same cookie, one on each side. And then they look at one another, nod, and just take the plate. Because they know no one's going to say anything at this point.
Kane just lays down a whole lot of silver.
Okay. So, Shinra. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yes.
What are we to do once we get to our destination?
I need your help to perform a cleansing.
Foremost, Kane looks to Julianos and his large stature. Kane can fairly well guess that Julianos was involved with the helped fight off the Blue Flood. Every man of fighting age was.
Yep.
Yeah, Julianos would have encountered even just a few.
Yeah.
If nothing else.
Yep.
And then he would have heard about it once he got. If he wasn't in civilization, he would have heard about it.
2, 3 years ago now, I suppose. Mine and my company took up arms against a god named Ulioth.
Yes.
Forgive me for what I'm about to say, because I'm sure, and you may take offense to it, but you do feel the same, at least from an outsider. As they're bone thieves, and they're...
I can assure you that I am not one of those monsters. Nor can I fault you for your ignorance. Though you are not completely in the wrong. There is a difference between the monsters and the followers of such beings.
Trying to follow along, Julianos questions, kind of cautiously, what are we to cleanse?
My home.
Of what?
You will have to forgive us. Information is rather inadequate at this time.
It is all right. I'm simply not used to speaking in your ways.
Yes, we communicate auditorily.
Yes, it is.
Apologize if it's an inconvenience for your race.
Yes. It is strange. Very primitive. She seems irritated.
Much
What?
as the communication between biological and synthetic.
I'm sorry?
Converting zeros and ones to speech. We have had the same issue.
I suppose it is similar.
It's just a binary is more convenient than telepathy.
King says to himself.
It really
He
is,
feels
brother.
daggers being seen through him. No, I need your help to cleanse my home. There was an unbalance with the gods ever since Ulyaoth was put in his place. Thankfully, someone made the decision to not kill him, though that would have been an easy option. This world would be destroyed if that was the case.
It was good men who fought him.
I can tell.
In the back of your mind, you can hear someone... in the back of Kane's mind, you can hear someone reminding Kane, do not let him hear that.
Zelatos like, no. No.
He has a big enough ego as is.
Yeah, baby, work the shaft. I know that your race does not understand this. There was a balance held with the easiest thing for you to call them would be gods, Ulyaoth and his kind. It seems one of your kind tried to
tip the scales, as it were.
Indeed. Thank you. In Ulyaoth's favor, which, if that happened, this world would still be destroyed. So, needless to say, there is an unbalance. And this is called, it's a lot of, she reaches up and rubs her neck. She seems to be physically adjusting something under the veil. You can't see what she's doing. But there's a very gross squelching sound. She removes her hand.
Is the hand wet?
No.
Okay.
Julianos is still fascinated by her function.
Apologies. Again, this is strange. But it seems the Red Menace has decided to try to take this world for itself, since the Blue One is no longer in power.
Kane says under his breath, Chaturga.
Correct.
Julianos withholds what he was going to say. In his mind, you can hear Jet proudly proclaim, Red Madness.
Behind the Iron Curtain.
Yay. Okay. Okay.
Just bass boosted Soviet anthem. Jet just stomping on through.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So we are to help cleanse Chaturga from your home.
In a
Or
sense.
rather, Chaturga's influence. as you put it.
That is a more accurate statement, yes.
If I may ask, if that's the case, Julianos may be a good choice, but I seem not so much. I mean, I know a man who supposedly bested Chaturga's greatest beast.
Oh.
Seems like he looks down his malformed arm for a brief moment, and seems like you would need men of more physical persuasion in order to fight beasts that way.
I think it will become more clear on what we need to do once we arrive. I know the one you speak of. Chosen. If he were to come there, my home would be destroyed because of that man. Anyone influenced by... She seems frustrated every time she has to mention Chaturga, Ulyath, the others. They are not welcome in my home.
And of our gods.
She looks over to Julianos.
Julianos. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
I actually don't know about you.
Julianos sits up, right? The Deus Mecha is accepting of all assuming that they behave. If they stand out of... If they perform acts outside of the life code, this would cause errors to occur for them.
Boomer, you're so sweet.
Love
The
you.
vacuum cleaner is not gonna kill you, I promise. Boomer, stop. Boomer! It's just a vacuum cleaner. Calm down.
All I did was I bumped it.
Boomer, stop.
The machine god rises.
As Boomer looks at the vacuum cleaner.
As Julianos finishes saying that, you all get the idea that if any gods or underlings seem to misbehave in the Deus Mecha's domain, the errors implied not nice things to happen.
Yeah. Shingra seems to mess with her neck again, question mark, and turns to Julianos. When I said I don't know, I meant you are not recognized. I mean, your god is not recognized.
Understandable.
He seems to be
Young.
very young.
This is accurate. The Deus
Yes.
Mecha is of a new breed of god. Second to that, he is a rather unobtrusive god.
For a brief moment, Julianos feels a very... She completely understands what he means when he says that.
Yeah. That there is a connection, a collective nod.
Yes. She looks to Kane. I'm confused about your confusion. I understand the physical worry you have, but you seem to disassociate our gods. She leans and he can tell that she's trying to make eye contact with him.
Pause it for a second. Or not pause it, but mute Annie.
Why?
Because we talked about some stuff and I'm not sure if...
This is entering spoiler territory.
Yeah, we're entering spoiler
Sorry,
territory.
Annie, hold on one second.
It's all good.
Okay.
Okay, we're back.
You good?
We're good. We're
okay.
good.
Sorry, Annie.
Yeah, Kane is rather confused. And her statement, she can tell, doesn't do anything to alleviate it.
Mm-hmm.
Should I roll for... I don't think I have to roll for that, but roll for Kane's faith. But yeah, Kane knows what he worships.
Yeah.
Stand fast, my brother, or I shall be the bulwark while you be the sword.
Oh Lord, you are the storm. You are to who I will brace my back during combat. But yes, I am confused. Are you a priestess of your kind?
Yes.
Did she say, was that confusing? Was that with a question mark at the end?
That wasn't it obvious?
Oh, okay. It was,
yeah. Stop.
Do you need a potty? Okay, give us a minute.
Okay.
No, I was talking to Boomer, but,
Okay.
I think he just wants to play because he's got his rock. Stop looking at me so sad.
Julianos worships the Deus Ex. I worship the God and the Savior, Yahweh and the Son. Who do you worship?
I dare not say his name. We merely, in your tongue, would be called the Contemplator.
Contemplator. Several of the newer believers of my religion hold the same standard with our God. They refuse to speak his name and call it a sin if you do.
It is not a sin. We simply do not want to ascend yet.
That's a word.
That's a word.
He looks directly to Julianos.
Julianos, eyes wide, is kind of like, I guess. Okay.
She looks between the two. What'd I say?
All Kane's thinking about is the gravedigger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Their first encounter with the body snatcher who ascended.
Oh.
Like
on that random island.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The Undertaker.
Undertaker.
Yeah.
That was the one.
Yep.
just off in the distance, there are non-flashbacks happening, and they don't know why it's triggered. Hey, Whisper. Do you have to potty? I think now would be a good time, since everyone's shocked by the A word.
Come on, Boomer.
Yeah, goodness.
Where is this potty ball? Oh, there it is.
He needs his ball so he can go potty.
Here you go.
Woo!
Das.
But I do find that funny that our dog can't use the bathroom without his ball.
Yeah.
Like somebody in the newspaper or something.
Actually, it's a bit like trying to go to the toilet without having a phone.
Right? We're so
God,
spoiled.
we're so fucking
We're
spoiled.
so spoiled. I hope it's not too bad so far.
Yeah, it's all good. I will say it is becoming a bit of a game of asking the right questions.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that life, though?
It is. Julianos attempts to use something. Julianos attempts to use augury.
Okay.
So he's going to try to speak briefly with the Deus Mecha.
Okay.
Try to get a little bit of guidance as to what questions would be appropriate to ask.
Okay, let's see. So far, you guys are doing fine.
Yeah. Do you need me to roll for that?
No.
Okay.
This falls under the mechanic of. We talked about it briefly, but the longer you take to do something, the more you take your time to do it.
Yep.
The more effective it is.
Okay, yep.
Like, I imagine he's just kind of leaning back in his chair with his eyes closed.
Yeah.
So.
Just silently talking away, yep.
Yeah. Julianos would realize that he needs to know what his role is or the objective of what they're going to do. Like, exactly. Yes,
Okay.
they're going to go cleanse, but how?
Yep. And we sort of know what we are going to cleanse. Okay, yep. I get you.
Yeah. The Deus Mecha would... Is he familiar with other gods?
Yes, he does talk with other gods, yep.
Okay. If that's the case, then assuming the Deus would try to reach out to Shin's god, he would, in a way, warn Julianos that he wasn't able to get in contact with her god.
Okay. I think I understand that.
Are we talking about like
He's doing augury right now.
Okay.
So
Okay.
he's
Okay.
getting guidance.
So the Deus Mecha attempted to talk to the contemplator,
Yes.
but
There was no.
no response. Okay.
Mhm.
And that would have sent alarm bells to the Deus Mecha, and that's why Julianus is on the case.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I hate to do it out of character, but is this more like a phone call where you can hear, like, they can hear you, but you can't hear them? Or are we talking, they're just not talking back?
The Deus Mecha reached his arm into a hole, knowing that someone's at the bottom, but can't see, hear, or feel anything.
Oh.
Yep.
And Kane doesn't get guidance like that, so he wouldn't know.
No. Out of the three, Julianos has the most direct contact with his.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
his is the most useful in some aspects. So.
No, Kane's God helps him through combat.
Mm-hmm. And more trying things.
Yeah.
And you guys will learn more about hers as we go.
Okay.
All right.
It is clear to the two that she is willing to answer questions. She's not trying to hide anything. It's just hard
difficult for her to speak.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Because she's aware that you guys need to know what's going on.
Does it seem difficult to a painful degree?
Yes.
Okay. Kane may be morally obliged to quit asking questions.
In that case.
However, she does seem more than willing to.
Okay.
So, she's only uncomfortable when she has to adjust.
So, we are to go to your home and cleanse Chiturga's influence. What exactly would be our role in the matter? I doubt it is something as simple as throwing holy water and chanting a few times.
O Lord, I am your hammer to shatter kingdoms, and I am your spear to slay kings. I think that's Matthew's 13. I have a list of somewhere.
Kane mumbles to himself as he pulls out a Bible from his bag, starts flipping. He's been tired lately.
Yeah. We have one similar. As the Deus Mecha guides us, so we shall go. As the Deus Mecha fortifies us, so we shall stay.
Shin shifts in her seat and turns toward Julianos to answer his question. You're asking your job.
Yes.
It is difficult to explain, easier to show. Simplest way to put it would be aside from the, as you said, throwing holy water and chanting, which will be helpful in getting rid of the physical problems. The contemplator is not an active god. She sits up slightly, reaches under her veil again, and adjusts. Any power that my sisters and I have is merely runoff from his acknowledgement. It's not something that he openly grants, as your gods do. She looks over to Kane. In a sense, we have a limited supply, I suppose.
Is your God not omnipresent?
He is. In a sense. Hmm. Never thought I would have to tell outsiders about him.
I would be fascinated to learn.
That's what I.
The contemplator is apathetic to the other gods and machinations of the worlds. He merely sits back and observes. He has no wish to actively alter anything.
Seems quite like the god of man.
It is similar to the Deus Mecha, with alterations.
She shifts, gripping her cane and pulling it close to her. The flame on it ignites slightly, a pulse of cold going through the two.
What exactly is that doing?
Keeping me alive.
I see. You require the warmth from others?
She turns to him. No?
I believe she requires the cold.
Yes.
Yeah, I might have misunderstood what actually just happened. So the flame turned on, but we got colder?
Yes, it let out a wave of cold.
A wave of cold air.
I see.
Essentially, like really localized air conditioning.
Yeah.
Alright. The way that Julianus would have viewed that is the flame itself was drawing heat from
away
other
from
things.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was expelling cold, but I can see how you would feel that way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's having the life sucked out of you.
Yeah.
I see.
That is refreshing.
Indeed.
As long as I've been living in Mabaron.
She looks up toward the white flame at the end, in the lantern at the end of the cane. We exist because there was a time that he acknowledged us. We are merely figments of his imagination made flesh. We are an accident. He sees us no longer, though his power remains. She motions up to the flame. My home is filled with his power. The rest of the world is lost of it. We cannot reside outside of his... She motions up to the flame. Lasting acknowledgement.
I see.
We hope one day to fascinate him enough to get his attention. She straightens up, almost excited at the thought of it. We've worked a very, very long time. However, we're always met with nothing.
Killer.
Killer.
Sorry, Boomer's murdering a toy pig. But, let's see. Your word is a lamp at my feet, guiding me on the path. I believe that's Psalms. Quite literally, though, in this case. He looks up to the lantern.
Mm-hmm.
Though rather guidance, you're looking to your God for actual life.
Mm. He still guides us the way. Yes?
So, if I may, how will we know when our objective is completed?
Once Chatoga resides, I assume.
once balance is restored.
And this will prevent them from attempting to rise up.
If we're going through a similar process as what my companions did before, what's simply just to prevent from Zelatoth from doing the same thing?
Again, we have to restore balance. The reason that I needed your help, if I requested the help from one of the other gods chosen, it would merely swing everything in their god's favor, thus just making all of this
irrelevant.
Exactly.
So you choose the paladins of indifferent gods.
Yes.
I see the logic, and I agree with it.
I'm glad I was finally able to get it across. She slumps. Now, you asked earlier what our jobs were, or your jobs.
Yes.
Is to help me find balance again. Whether that is to knock everyone down a peg, or just get them all on the same level. There are many ways. Once we get to my home, you will see how many options we have. One of the options that I prefer, to be honest, is to finally get the contemplator's attention. Because with a simple acknowledgement, he could set everything right. However, being that our past trials have proven futile, I was hoping we could find another way. Whether that's restore a balance to Ulyath, or, again, knock the others down, or something.
How many others are there?
The ancients?
Yes.
Countless. However, those who rule over this plane, not counting my own, 4 total.
Ulyath, Chaturga, Zelatoth.
And the corpse eater, yes.
Kane struggles trying to remember Matarok. He only remembers it in brief quips from letters with Giannis.
Man, yes. Vile being. All of them. Ugh.
If all of the Matarok seems needed in this world race.
All of them are needed.
One's job
Without
should not
one
be coveted by another. The arm does not argue against the leg, nor does the eye.
She motions to Julianos. Yes.
We all work for the same greater good in the end. The life code. As I understand it, at least.
Interesting way of looking at it.
I'm not playing that.
I admit my flock is limited to one view, but I do acknowledge the others, at least.
Go ahead.
Julianos remembers his quote that he was actually going to say. Each part serves its place in the greater machine known as the life. For this machine to work at maximum efficiency, we must incorporate harmonic resonance, or similar. That is to say, you don't have to agree with harmonic resonance on my level of zeal, but just an appreciation of how everything works and flows. If left to their own devices, communicative errors occur.
I have to say I quite agree with that. I would much rather not go through another crusade. Kane rests a weary head in his hand for a moment.
Yes.
Sure. Leave it. I'm not. No, go lay down.
Do I need to lock him out?
You're being a devil.
You being an attention-seeking boy.
He knows.
Okay. I'm done with that for a second. Let's see.
I hope I answered your question. She looks to Juliana's.
Yes, you have answered a portion of my question. I will understand the rest of it once I see it.
Kane looks down to the large plate of cookies.
Which have been
I'm
disappearing.
sure that himself and Julianos have had several by now, but has she taken any?
No.
Would you like anything to eat, ma'am? Miss. Can I call you Shin?
She kind of like jerks a little bit at that. I suppose that is easier to say. That is fine.
And it's okay if you'd rather your full name. But yes, would you like anything to eat, Shinbra?
No.
To drink, maybe?
No.
Do you consume anything aside from cold?
I do. Though
Also
not. She looks down at the table full of drinks and cookies and
Kane swills around his ale for a second. Maybe she wants, fresh water.
I do like water.
Well, I do have at least one more question, though it may seem offensive, and I apologize, and you do not have to answer if you don't wish to.
Go lay down. Go lay down.
Living in Mabaran, I've become very familiar with
Go ahead.
several races, though I can't say that I recognize
ahead.
yours.
You wouldn't.
You're not any beastkin I know, or any layer of man, elf or dwarf.
My people are much older than all of those things. And we have been almost quarantined to where I'm living now. She shakes her staff a little bit.
So,
Without him, we cannot survive.
do you mean without the cold or without him? Because the doctor was able to restore you with merely ice.
If I am
What?
to interpret, I believe the flame itself comes from his influence.
Correct. You are both correct. The cold is something our bodies have adapted to. The flame is, as I stated, a runoff of his power that I was able to gather and carry with me. It's not going to last forever. That's why I'm only using it in small doses. She taps the cane to the floor and the flame goes out. The good doctor was able to sustain me until I was able to get the staff back. It's his power we feed from.
Then it was quite fortunate that you were not separated from your staff for so long.
Indeed. Thank you both. Though I cannot fault the doctor, she was not aware. Equate it to your kind going without water for 3 days or longer.
Julianos gets a bit of a pained grimace on his face.
She looks at him and waits.
Kane knows the feel.
Yep.
If you travel to a desert, you know the feel. Flashback to young Kane stumbling into a desert village only for Giannis to point him to a near drainage ditch to drink from.
Flashback to Julianos trying to find a rainforest only to land up in a desert. Yeah, he's not good with orienteering.
Oh, okay.
As a wandering missionary.
Oh, that's great. Okay, sorry. Let's see. Sorry, Kane doesn't smoke, but
I can say that Julianos is set and ready for moving on.
Yeah. That's probably the last question Kane had, was what her race was. Because he's unsure.
Granted,
Okay.
there's still a couple of things that are not quite known, but we'll get those answers as they come.
Yeah.
Do Julianos and Kane have anything to ask one another?
Unfortunately, I've missed a chance in order to start off the same way as I did with Juliet, so... Dang.
I don't get the reference, but...
Yeah, you won't. Julianos looks over at Kane and gets a bit of a grin. Can I interest you in a new religion?
Shingra leans forward and you can hear a snort. She's trying to giggle.
I can't say I'm sold, but I always love to hear the pitch.
Please hold for one moment.
Julianos reaches down and starts digging through his bags. No, I'm not throwing the rock. Get your piggy. Get your piggy. Boomer. Ball. Good boy.
Goodness, where is it?
Good boy. Huh? Wee. Good boy.
Oh no.
Pulled all the stuffing out of this thing. Oh no.
He killed it.
It's dead now.
Okay, yeah, I can't find it. Never mind. I'm sorry.
What? Kane slaps the Bible on the table.
Okay, yeah. Julianos hands Kane a very shocking picture of a robot that only has eyeballs and a human mouth. The rest of his servos and under skeleton is visible.
Is this like a painting or?
It's an image.
It's an image, alright, let me tell you.
Julianos just starts bursting out in laughter.
Oh.
Not interested?
Neither am I.
Yeah, neither was Julia's, but fear not. I just do that to have a bit of fun.
Oh my.
I will send I'll send the image over later on when I find it again. But, I was kind of unprepared for that.
Shin starts to doubt her decisions. Starts to question herself. Alright, boys, y'all ready?
Yep.
I'm not.
So, how long are they on the boat? Or are we going to get to that?
Before the stop, about 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
To get where they are going, they have to stop, and they travel from that port to another port,
Okay.
get on another boat, and then hit another state of land. That'll be the next campaign. I'll hit that.
Okay.
But this one is going to be where we hit that island where we move to the second port. They come onto the port, disembark, again, not noticed by many people. They travel, moving on to the next port town. It was dawn whenever they started traveling, and it's starting to get dark. They do come upon a very, very, very small village.
Okay.
However, it seems they might have room and board. This place also has a church, which typically means sanctuary, which people can stay for the night. So.
Okay.
Which I'm assuming the group would like to do
Yes.
instead of not traveling at nighttime.
Yeah.
If we were going through Mage Run, I would suggest traveling at night because of Shingra.
Yeah.
But
No,
since we're not in the desert anymore, no.
We're not. No.
It's never a good idea to travel at night.
Yep.
Even for paladins and clerics. All right, I'm in.
I'm loading.
I'm fixing Juliana's.
I'm at 46 of 48.
Nice.
And I'm in. Oh, goodness. Julianos is huge.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it
Yeah.
fixed.
That's why
I didn't save it. So.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he is a big boy. Gotta admit it.
Alright, there we go.
Yeah, there is a more natural. Let me compare. Yeah. So I think Kane's fine.
Alright, am I able to move him? Yes, I am.
Okay.
Sweet.
Should have.
Okay.
Okay, you got it?
Yeah.
Uh, on the, well, you assume?
Hold on a second. I think you're cutting in and out.
But it's all kind of just like basic farm.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch any of that, sorry. Hello? Oh, wow. The internet is currently taking a bit of a tank at the moment.
And then so,
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there
You
we go.
good?
Yes.
Your internet just had a
I was
stroke.
getting a bit worried there for a second. Okay. All good.
We good?
Yep.
Stable?
Yep.
Okay. As they approach the front gates, they spy two, what you assume to be guards. They're dressed rather poorly for guards, though considering the size of the village, you're not too surprised.
How old do they appear to be?
From what you can tell, 2030s.
Okay.
So, on the younger end.
Guard age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Shen kind of falls back behind the two and lets them take the lead. The guards raise an arm each, hailing the paladins.
Before they reach the guards, Kane mentions to the others, see the tips of a Neronian church there. We'll be able to ask for sanctuary for the night there.
Shen would swing on and follow them.
What did you...
most appreciative.
Yes.
Julianos raises his hand in greeting to the guards.
Kane gives a slight bow. Good evening, sir.
Evening, traveler. May I ask what you're doing all the way out here?
What's the name of the port we're going to?
Stillwater.
Stillwater?
Yes.
We're traveling from a previous port to Stillwater. We're looking to take this pilgrim further north.
I see.
Yes.
Well, do have safe travels then. The guards, you notice them glance at one another nervously. You aren't planning on staying, are you?
Possibly for the night. We'd ask for openings at the inn or possibly the church. Is everything all right, sir? Go ahead and load a blue for me.
What's your roll for blue?
Let me see. Roll 1d6. And then I have to roll a d20 with it, right?
Yeah, after you roll your 6.
Oh! Okay, I'm keeping it.
All I see is roll 1d6.
Oh, god damn
it. It didn't actually roll anything.
Yeah, you didn't do the slash.
Oh, I didn't. Okay, shit. I thought I rolled a 6 there.
Yep.
Watch it be a 1.
It's gonna be a 1
it's
now.
It's gonna be a 1. Because God said fuck you.
I think I might roll my,
Oh, okay, I'm rolling wild then. I'm rolling wild.
You're gonna roll wild?
Yeah.
1d6. Because I'm going to see if I can roll my blue as well while I'm here.
Okay, got a 4.
You got a 4.
Okay.
I'll probably keep that for blue.
Okay.
Okay.
That's slightly above average.
Should I roll my wild now, or should I go for diplomacy and then roll?
Go ahead and do what you want to do, and then roll. So I know what you're rolling for. Exactly.
Sir, is everything all right? You look a bit worried. Roll for diplomacy.
Okay.
Yeah, to get it out. And I'm going to go ahead and give my d20 and then my wild d6.
Okay. Nice.
Okay, and... Wait, I can just press up. Fuck yeah. Alright, so it's 20.
So that's a 20.
That's a pretty solid roll.
Yeah.
The guards exchange another look, and as the previous guard that was talking to you turns to look back at you, he notices Kane's wardrobe.
Yeah.
You're of the church?